Hi, welcome to the Beehive. My name's Atul Rajani. I'm here to talk about how the small things in life, if we get them right, it leads to true transformation. Over the coming weeks and months, we've got some great guests who are going to share their insights, their knowledge, their wisdom, and help us through this journey we call life. Hey Nriti,
Hi,
welcome to the Beehive,
thank you.
where you get to be anything you wish to be. We've invited you here today for several reasons, but first and foremost, I still go back to that time the four of us were hanging out, you, Karan, Diksha, and me, and it was one of those evenings where I've had the most fun in a very, very long time.
I'm glad.
We we had conversations that were soul searching. We were laughing nonstop. We had that conversation within a conversation within a conversation, and what really, I took back from that evening with you guys was just how genuine and transparent you both are, and it was just like it was something that I've been looking to find, since my move over from the UK to India. So,
Very honored.
so thank you for that. That
And the
wonderful-
feeling was mutual.
Oh, thank you. And when we were thinking about guests for this podcast, as a result, you were one of the first people that came to mind. So today, I want to invite you here just to have a conversation about wellness, health, and more than anything, this journey we call life. So how to navigate it, I think a lot of people out there, myself included, we've gone through sort of good times, bad times, and it's the bad times that we try and look to find who we are and sort of,
Absolutely.
how to learn to navigate those places. So starting with, I guess my very first question, I was very fortunate to meet my wife now 3 years ago. And I saw her from being the consummate professional, I think one of the hardest working people I've ever seen. First my girlfriend, then my wife, and now the mother of my child. And to see and observe as a husband, as a man, what she went through and how she had to transform to becoming a mother from, a hyper professional, it was, for me, mind blowing.
I'm sure.
So I just want to ask you about your journey and sort of you've been, I think, something through very, very similar. So
Yes, so I would say I was a very sheltered child. And of course, when I met Karan, it was, I wouldn't say love at first sight, but there's something in you when you believe in destiny, like we spoke about.
Yeah.
You're going to end up with that person. You don't know how, but it's going to happen.
yeah,
And it was a bit of a tough journey, but we got there eventually. And, there are times when we fight and stuff. And one of our best friends did tell us, always remember the time why you wanted to marry him when you go back to that. So I think that in itself was transformative for me to remember why you want to hold on to the good things.
Yeah.
Cut to, of course, getting married, having kids, which was, it was hard, like I'm sure you know. But in a hard pregnancy, but once again, you remember the good times. And I did start working in between marriage and having my firstborn. I kind of entered there wasn't the term influencer at that time. I would say blogger. Decided to become a blogger. And it was a very different landscape. There weren't that many of us. Smaller pool. So, of course, the ROI in that sense was much larger.
right.
Of course, I had kids, like I said, back to back. So I kind of took a sabbatical to get back on that horse after, only because I realized I wasn't fulfilled. I could do both. When they start school, when they're busy, they're napping, you have to have more
More to
than
life.
you can't define yourself just as their mother.
Right.
There's nothing wrong with that, of course.
Yep.
But I knew I wanted more for myself.
Right.
Which is why when you talk about Diksha and her journey, and like you rightly said, very similar in that you want the best for your kid, but you also want the best for you
Yes.
because as whoever rightly said, a happy mom is a happy child.
Yeah. Yeah.
And therefore the husband will be very happy. So yeah,
What's the saying that we were told? Happy wife, happy life.
true that.
I want to sort of dive into that just a little bit more. So I came from a background where my mother was effectively a housewife. So from morning to night, she was holding that home together. And her entire journey from morning to night was about how to look after the kids and how to look after her husband, so on and so forth.
Of course.
So I came from that kind of a setup and a background. So to meet Diksha and also to see how much the world is evolving from this perspective, I fundamentally believe that women are what sort of hold society together. So having them in the workplace and at sort of being able to get rid of those glass ceilings and move in that direction, I think will actually transform the way in which the world operates.
So true.
So with again with Diksha and what she went through, taking back to that, I see her on a daily basis putting 100% into our kid, and that's exhausting. It's really not easy. And then you have to have time to gym, to look good, to train, to look after
self-care.
Exactly. Now that always takes a back seat. I mean, what I've seen in the early days, and then you sort of try and find
the balance.
So how did you find that balance, or what steps did you take?
Like I said, you kind of prioritize them initially because they're younger. They need you, whether you're breastfeeding, whether you're not breastfeeding even. The routine, and all of us are kind of hung up on having a routine for our kid from when they're born, which I don't know if it's like a drawback of society.
Right.
Because like you said, your mom was a housewife, so was mine. So I don't know, my mom never related to the concept of routines for kids.
Yeah, absolutely. Same.
So, but I feel it kind of helps women nowadays because you kind of get to know when you can find that balance. It gives you that kind of leeway.
Yeah.
If they're napping, you work during those times. You plan your day around their routine.
Right.
Which is why I think it's very important.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, I think that you've put that really nicely, actually. And I've observed that with Diksha as well.
So it's kind of like a guideline, like a timetable like kids have at school.
Yeah.
It helps them as well. You know what's coming next. Similarly, for me, I think working around that routine and schedule kind of really helped. More than just the physical aspect of finding balance, I think it's also very important to talk about the mental aspect of it.
Yes.
Because I'm sure every mom has a thing called mom guilt.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And it's never going to leave us. From what I've seen, even with my mom, till date, when I go back to Bombay, she'll struggle. She'll be like, are you sure you're okay? I have a lunch to go for. There's that mom guilt, even though I'm like almost 40. So she feels she has to be there for me.
Right.
So I think in terms of finding the balance, you have to realize what's important and prioritize accordingly.
Yeah. I don't think there's any easy route from that A to B. There's no sort of fixed way to do it. But from what I'm hearing from you and what I'm understanding, it's prioritizing the kid and its timeline, and then building from there effectively.
Exactly.
Right. I mean, I took a bit of time out just to have a look at your Insta handle, and I didn't realize you were so famous. There's so many followers. But
thank you.
So you're of course well known for balsamic vine gear.
Yeah.
And a few questions around that. About, again, I'm tying into the previous question here. You're an entrepreneur.
I guess.
I for sure. You're a fashionista, lifestyle guru, I guess, if you can use that word.
Opinion maker, maybe.
Opinion maker. And somewhere dotted in between all of that, there's also some very heartfelt, soulful messages that you've put.
Yeah.
Which is what I really connected into, like that sort of, I mean, I'm obviously not
of course
going to be your target audience.
Yeah.
But having said that, when I found those little nuggets, that really connected me to you just that little bit more. So why did you decide to put that into space with what you do?
So I think with the influencer space right now, we're all kind of in a cookie cutter phase, where all of us are like doing similar collaborations, we're doing similar brand marketing, whatever. And I felt like I went through something 3 years ago that really changed me and made me think a lot more, okay, it's great to do this on a superficial level for the financial benefits.
Yep.
Of course, you make good pocket money on the side. It's great. It's easy, I would say, compared to like what maybe Karan or you do.
Yeah.
But I think I wanted my page to be a little more about me as a person.
Right.
And the trauma that I went through 3 years really defined, like you said, the low points in your life define who you are.
Absolutely.
And how you come out of it is what makes you you. And these things that I would read on Instagram, I started following, of course, a lot more spiritual pages.
I did exactly the same thing.
Yes, exactly. So then, and how the algorithm works on Instagram, the more you follow and like one type of page, then you just keep seeing those.
Yep.
And you resonate with that.
Absolutely.
And I resonated very deeply. And I felt like aside from telling girls or boys or whoever what to buy and what to use on your skin and, what to consume, why not make them think about how they should live their life mentally?
Absolutely. Yeah.
So yeah, that was the reason.
I love how you've put all of that, and it kind of connects with I think it's about connecting the mental space, emotional, spiritual, and of course health. All
Yep.
these four things play a,
Tying together.
yeah, tying
Yeah.
together. And if one is lacking, it will create an imbalance.
Yeah.
So when we talk about your move, your sorry, not your move, your is it tragic situation that
Yes.
happened
Yeah.
3 years ago?
Sure.
Is that I could use that word?
Yes,
Yeah.
of course.
When you were going through that, what came first in terms of what you had to deal with? Was it the spiritual aspect? Was it the emotional? Was it the physical? I mean, I'll come back to why I'm asking you this,
Of
but
course, of course. So I think losing dad was obviously initial shock because it came out of nowhere for the four of us. And I think, of course, you want to connect immediately. The first thing you do, I don't know about everyone, but for all four of us, it was like we want to connect with him because we don't know why it happened, how it happened, what happened. So I think that would be the spiritual aspect of it. But what I learned over time after losing him was that you want to be remembered for something.
okay,
And the way he was remembered is something I wanted to kind of say continue his legacy in that sense.
yeah,
Of course, my brother's doing a fantastic job in being the man of the house, but I feel daughters are somewhere, when you assume that the boy will fill in the shoes
Yep.
of the father,
Yep.
but why can't it also be the girls?
Absolutely,
They say daughters and fathers have a very special relationship, you would know.
yeah,
But for me, I was like, I want to be remembered as his daughter because of the things he did.
right,
And I want to continue that legacy.
right,
So I don't know if that would tie into spirituality. I mean, the lines are kind of blurred for me.
yeah,
Physically, also, it was a transformation. I focused a lot more on how I want to be. Like, wellness became a huge part of my life then because if you're mentally happy, physically just follows, right? And vice versa.
absolutely,
So I think, that incident kind of affected every aspect of my being. From spiritual to emotional, of course, you become a lot more vulnerable.
Yeah.
You become a lot more empathic towards others.
absolutely.
And physical, like I said, I got into like transformation, wanting to be a better version of myself every day.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it covered every aspect.
So, I mean, going into that a little bit more with, from my personal experience as well, I think I shared this with you guys maybe
Yes.
that night as well. I lost mum and dad in quick succession,
Yeah.
and it had an effect where I questioned everything. So I was the guy sitting in the mandir every single day praying to God. And I'd always pray for my family. I never
Yeah.
prayed for myself. And I had to sort of come to terms with the fact that all that praying and all this belief in God didn't translate to saving my parents.
I felt the same.
So
Like I stopped going to the temple for a year because I was angry at God.
same here. I stopped speaking to him,
Yeah.
and I would have conversations with
Yeah.
with him every day, and I was like, if this is how it's going to be, then
Yeah,
sorry.
of course.
So I kind of felt the same way. Disconnected from God, was really upset with him, and after all that praying and asking, and that too not for me, but just for my family, he couldn't grant it. So I went through exactly that as well, and then there was this phase of, if it's not God, then what is it? What
Yeah.
is it that's bigger than me? So I turned to nature, and it was just about being in greenery, being around crystals, being around animals, which
yeah.
to me are, I think they're all angels sent from God,
Of course.
So that was a stepping stone for me to start returning kind of to some kind of normalcy of mind. So nature helped me sort of focus my mind and get myself back. What had happened in that process is I decimated my body.
Yeah.
So for the stress, I wasn't eating, I wasn't sleeping. So my weight dropped down to 60 kgs. So
my God.
it was skin, bone, and not much
Yeah.
else. And I remember very clearly there's this pivotal moment where I looked in the mirror and I said, and of course this was after losing dad first. And I was like, you are no longer a boy, you are now a man. Right? And it can't be like this. So I came back into my weight training journey. So I've been bodybuilding and training since I was 15, sports and all the rest of it. So I'd been around 85 kg kind of weight, and I dropped down to 60. And the first thing to sort of get myself back into a position of strength was to actually feel physically strong. So that's where I came back into this, and
Right.
it was a healing process. I mean, people think the gym is just about looking good, or it's not. It's
An
also
outlet.
exactly, and it helps you focus. It helps you release stress, and it helps you sort of, I guess, remove all of the clutter that you have inside you. I mean, both emotional and, of course, from a
Connect better with yourself.
exactly. So that return to sort of getting myself back into place, getting back into work, being more positive, started in a big way with rebuilding myself physically, and then I remember this point where it became all about finding spirituality through other people. So other people I realized had gone through similar journeys, and there's so much to learn in that process. There's a saying: a wise man learns from his mistakes. A wiser man learns from others' mistakes. So if you kind of extrapolate that into, well, other people have gone through this, I want to learn and understand how to get through it.
Yeah.
So going back to you now and what you went through, how did you reconstruct yourself? How did you bring yourself back? And what would you advise to other people out there? Because, I mean, you look great. You're obviously doing really well. And so, I think people would want to understand how.
Like I said initially, I kind of decided to go inward. So for me, it was similarly like you, focusing on your body, focusing on your health, eating well, not because I realized, when you eat junk, of course, we all have those bad days or good days, whatever you want to call it, cheat days.
Yeah.
You also feel sluggish, which
Yeah.
also affects your mental condition.
Absolutely.
And, my older son, he has really sensitive gut.
Okay.
And, we consult many doctors, there'll be days he'll just eat, even if he just eats white bread or
Yeah.
pizza or something with maida, he just is in a really bad situation. And I couldn't understand the correlation between his mood and that. So we used to consult this homeopath, and she said very simply to me, Nriti, everything stems from the gut,
That's
even for your child.
Yeah.
If he's not taking his probiotics, and it wasn't like additional stuff, it was a basic home stuff like dahi, yogurt or whatever.
Anji.
Yes. So that instantly helped him. And I saw a change in my son, which for me was a huge pivotal moment.
Wow.
I was like, if it can affect kids so basically, just having a happy gut means a happy child.
Yeah.
Imagine what it would do for adults. And that's when I decided to just complete. I've always been a mindful eater and healthy eater. I mean, it's a joke in the house that she's been on a diet ever since she was like 12, But I think, like you said, dieting is not like the gym is not just about looking good. It's also being mindful about what you're consuming, because it actually does. If I saw it with not just Ayansh, with Karan, with me, eating mindfully has a huge impact on your mental health.
It does. It does.
So for me, that was the whole thing. I just wanted to get better at everything we did, whether it was just being, like I said, a better human being, being a better mother, bettering myself every day for my family, similarly.
Yeah.
And I think that also gave us the strength to be there for mom. And while I feel she has had more strength than any of us put together, I think, you have to get to that point where you realize, I think all of us individually were like, we have to be strong for each other. We didn't realize we were just doing it collectively.
Yeah.
So even that kind of transformed the family. And I thought that was a beauty of the situation.
Yeah. I mean, people talk about silver lining it,
Yeah.
but the fact is that really is what it is. Those points of pressure and sadness also create a lot of love, understanding, and togetherness.
Absolutely.
So I'm really, really interested to hear what you said a little bit further on about your son.
Yeah.
About having gut issues. And
Yes.
I mean, our little daughter, we changed the type of milk she was having.
Yeah.
And instantly we saw a response in her temper.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden she developed a temper. And we talked to doctors about it. Actually, my physio. And very randomly, he goes to me, are you giving her this type of milk?
Yeah.
And we had just changed it.
Yeah.
So we went back to the original,
Right.
what we were giving her, and she went back to normal.
Yeah.
So what you've just said, I mean, it of course validates what we saw, and that food and intake just is, I mean, it sets your mood.
Completely.
And with gut health, I don't know if a lot of people actually understand out there, all of the decisions that get taken for you without you thinking about it So, for example, breathing.
Yeah.
You're not sitting there and going, I have to think in and out,
Mindful,
right?
yeah.
So the network of nerves under your gut, that's your second brain.
Absolutely.
That's where all the decisions get taken for the regulation of your body. And
It's true.
right? Now, if you're not looking after that space, then
Yeah.
the bad things start happening.
Exactly.
You know, and I think that's something really important for people who are watching this, and for them to just take that home. That's for me, at least for me, that's
Yeah.
a huge take back what you've just said.
You know, there was a time when I thought, because, you know, they say the mom's mental state when she's pregnant is directly correlated to the child when he or she comes out,
Yes.
right?
Yep.
Which I used to just think my mom is just like, oh, be happy, you know, whatever, all the time. And I was just miserable because I was on bed rest and I was just like this grumpy person. And when Ayansh was born, as he grew older, I started seeing similar moods in the way I was when I was carrying him. So it just kind of became like, okay, this is just his nature because I was like that. But when she said to me, the doctor, about his gut, I kid you not, even little, like we all as moms think, okay, we shouldn't give sugar to our kids because it's bad. But with Ayansh, I saw it wasn't just him being hyper post sugar, it was a come down.
Yes.
You know what they talk about, like drugs and drug addicts?
Yes.
The come down for Ayansh would just be inconsolable crying. And I thought it's
Wow.
because I had slight depression tendencies when I was pregnant with him.
Right.
You know, then the PTSD and all of that.
Of course.
Postpartum depression, sorry. I started assuming it was because of that, because I was feeding and maybe he's got that tendency, but it was literally just food related.
Yeah.
And now I know I'm like that horrible mom at birthday parties. It's like, you can have one bite of cake, you go home and I'll give you sugar-free cake. And he's just like, why?
Yeah.
But I saw in him, it was just that, it was not just the high, the low was so low.
Yeah.
I literally felt like I'm raising like an alcoholic or a drug addict child because it was just too much for me to handle.
I mean, it's something which I tell a lot of people.
Yeah.
Sugar is worse than drugs.
It is. It's poison.
It is. And the amount of sugar you get in a can of Coke, it's like 35 grams or something. We're not meant to be having more than 10, 15 grams of sugar
Yeah.
a day over the whole day.
Yeah.
So you're getting it in one shot. That creates an insulin spike.
Exactly.
And from that dip you're talking about is that come down, you know?
I mean, and it was too much to see in a kid. And
Yeah.
I just feel they don't need to handle, you know, that.
So, and I mean, even with our daughter,
Mm-hmm.
we're staying away from sugar completely. Salt as well is something we regulate,
Yeah.
but we're really, you know, careful and anti.
You have to, because nowadays you don't, look, I believe genuinely, as much as you can control them till they're like 5 or 6 in terms of diet, not other sort of controlling, but you'll set the foundation for the rest of their lives.
Yeah.
You know, for me, I take weird pride when we go on holidays and my kids are like, but we want tinda and roti and dal. I'm like that mom who's like, great. Whereas, you know, they will not look at pizza, they won't look at pasta, because I've been very, very on it about giving them home cooked Indian meals, because I do feel Indian food has a great balance
I completely
of nutrients.
I completely agree. And having, I don't think I told you guys this when we were hanging out, but I had a lot of bad health when I lived in the UK. Just food was processed, refined, pizza, pastas, burgers, etc. Sandwiches, like, I mean, that's like a
You
typical.
just grab and go, right? That's the whole concept.
Exactly. You don't. There's not that concept of sitting having a proper meal, and from when I moved to India, so I came here. I mean, on and off, I was coming since 2005,
Right.
but permanently from end of 2018, and it took a month to adjust. So the microbes in your gut take some about a
Of
month.
course.
Once they had sort of established themselves in India, I mean, I can't remember the last time I was not well.
Yeah.
You know, so it was transformative living here,
Mm-hmm.
having the food here,
Yeah.
and even if you extend that into yoga, for example, the practices we have here in the East,
Of course.
from food to yoga, it's in terms of wellness, in terms of health, in terms of well-being,
Yeah.
you kind of just tick all the boxes.
And that's why it's becoming like huge in the West, but was always a part of our lifestyle here from when you are born.
Yeah, absolutely. Tell me something. Have you, I mean, engaged in doing yoga? Is that part of your routine?
Not really, only because I am a huge cardio buff.
Okay.
I feel like you said, for you, weightlifting was an outlet. For me, running is just therapeutic.
Okay.
I'll run. I run to clear my mind. I run. There'll be times when I'm running on the treadmill and I just may have this flash of dad.
Yeah.
And I'll be howling on the treadmill, but I'm not conscious of it anymore.
Wow.
Because I feel like it's a release.
It is.
For me, yoga was a little bit slow paced. And I'm one of those girls who's just always in a rush.
Yeah.
I don't think that's a good way to be. But it is who I am. So I've accepted it.
I think it's also because you have such a hectic lifestyle, and it reminds me also of my wife. She's also a runner, so
Yeah.
she'd tell me the same thing. It's therapeutic.
Yeah.
And going back to what we talked about, spirituality, your emotional state, and of course, your health.
Mm-hmm.
Being physically active just helps you balance everything out.
Completely.
It helps you get that emotional stability.
It does.
It helps you get that mental stability.
Yeah.
So she's also a runner, and when she went through the toughest times in life, she'd just run.
Yeah. I feel that.
Yes, and it's again, amazing hearing that from you,
Yeah.
because it shows that there's, obviously this is something that if other people do it,
Of course.
I think they'll get the same kind of benefit.
It's a great outlet. I make it a point to, on the weekends, for my kids to see me working out, because due to Karan's lifestyle, he doesn't really have that time. It'll just be 1 month before summer where he needs to get the summer body in, and he'll be killing himself in the gym. So it's not consistent.
Yeah.
But I make it a point for the boys to see at least one of us being active.
Yep.
Because again, I think there's so much you can learn from kids once you have kids also, when they don't go out and expend their energy, they're cranky.
Yeah.
It's the same with adults.
Yeah.
Maybe on a much larger or smaller scale.
No, it's this. I agree.
And I think it's important for everyone to get movement, whatever it may be. You can dance, you can sing, whatever it is. But like you said, yoga, there's so many new variations of things now.
And when my wife and I sat down and we decided to get married, and when we moved into the whole part of the journey of life together,
Mm-hmm.
the one thing I said to her was I'm there for you 100%. The only thing you have to allow me is my time in the gym.
Fair enough.
That was the only thing I said, that you need
Yeah.
to give me this, because it's something that keeps me balanced.
Yeah.
I find that connecting this with the gut health as well.
Yeah.
So I've also suffered from that issue, and recovery, i.e., sleep.
Yeah.
If that's spot on, then
So true. Most underrated remedy.
absolutely. So it's just so simple. You get a good night's sleep, and your body's all of a sudden ready to take on what's.
Completely.
And is that so? From what you're saying, I'm guessing you
Yeah.
also focus on having a good night's sleep. That's
I
something.
I really try to sleep early. I'm an early riser by nature. I've been in boarding school and university. So it was just, crack of dawn, I'm up. No matter what time I sleep. And it's a real bane, because there are times when you go out, you party, and you come home and you're sleeping at 3, 4 a.m. Still my eyes will open at 6 a.m.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a huge problem. But yeah, I do really try, balance it out on the days I can. For me, sleep, my mood is completely and directly correlated to my sleep.
And I think it's a subject probably that's not talked about enough,
Yeah.
or it's not focused on. Even from the perspective of training, and I reached a professional level
Right,
of
I'm sure.
of capability in tennis.
Mm-hmm.
Without recovery, you just couldn't function.
Yeah.
And recovery was 90% down to sleep.
Yeah.
The rest of it, getting therapy and eating right, etc., that all came second.
Mm-hmm.
And when I went through that process of going into professional levels of sport,
Tennis, yeah.
it was sleep first. And if you didn't sleep, then everything else you tried was only going to work marginally.
It's counterproductive.
Exactly. So we had to focus on recovery. And from that point, it was down to nutrition. So nutrition primarily from food. And from food, we'd move into supplements.
Yeah.
So you can't, there's this, I see it out there all the time that, if you take this tablet, you're going to be magically better the next day.
No, it's not possible.
I don't believe in any of that. Exactly. It's not
Yeah.
possible. So sleep has to be there. You need to be in a position to eat right. And I think in India, we're very lucky.
Yes.
We have great natural produce here. And then where you want to get that last 10, 20%, that's where, things like supplements actually work.
Right.
And is that,
So I take a multivitamin. I take magnesium for sleep.
that's excellent. Yeah.
and I guess iron every now and then because I am very particular about my hair, and because
If
of
you don't mind, it looks fantastic.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. It's because of the profession. You know, you're blow drying constantly and stuff. So I'm very petrified about hair fall.
Okay.
So for that reason, I take iron tablets. Luckily, I am a good eater. I have balanced meals. So I think I am one of those people who tries to not take too many supplements.
Yeah.
Only because I think as a family we never did growing up.
Right.
And now suddenly like my siblings post pandemic are like CoQ10, silver, blah, blah, blah. Every time I go home, it's like a pharmacy in there.
Right.
But I still haven't caught on to it, unfortunately. But I think I'm feeling okay. So
I mean, I think you're doing it the right way. You know, it's what we just talked about.
Yeah.
You're sleeping, you're focusing on trying to
Right.
get sleep, you're doing your exercise, you're
Yeah.
eating well, healthy. So supplements only a little bit is required.
Yeah,
You don't need
yeah.
to be sort of... I know everyone out there would kill me if I didn't ask you.
No.
You mentioned you're getting close to 40, but
Yeah.
you look like you're 25.
Thank you.
So-
In his genes.
You can't say that.
No.
You have tell everyone out there, what
How?
you do. How?
Okay, I like I said, on a very superficial level, of course, regular facials, skin treatments. I'm a big believer in making a lot of DIY packs and hair packs, like face packs, hair packs, because I realized in the pandemic when obviously we couldn't do photo shoots and stuff. The reason the page pivoted was because of the DIY packs I was doing and posting.
Okay.
So that got because you're sitting at home, you don't have access to salons, you don't have access to parlors. So what can you do? And everyone wants to look better, right? That's just
of course.
a fact of life. So for me, I'm a huge believer in the natural stuff as well. Of course, I do get medical facials and stuff. Working out, I think that is a huge part of looking good. You can say you can diet, but you need movement, like we've spoken about multiple times today. So I'm mindful about at least getting in a 5-day a week workout.
Wow, 5
Yes,
days.
yes.
Wow.
I do binge. I know people don't see it on Instagram, and I get sometimes people are trying to send their friends those my stories, and it'll come back, and I post a picture for Navratri Thali. That is my weakness, thalis in general. And one of the followers sent it back to me and said it to her friend, being like, she must have only eaten the yogurt, know.
Wow.
But I love eating, so I do binge. I give myself that, time. And like if Karan was on this show, he would tell you post 10 p.m. I think calories just don't count. So I'll have that chocolate bar, I'll have it, but then I balance it with my workout.
I think that should be a tagline: post 10 p.m.
Yeah,
Calories don't count. I like that.
So yeah, and I think again coming back and circling to mental wellness,
Yep.
that is a huge reflection. I've turned my life in a way that I've directed it in the way I wanted it to go. I've wanted to be a very positive person after that. I want to be, the person who, I don't want to just sit with you and bitch and gossip. Of course, it's fun and we all do it. But I don't want to just be the person who's bringing negativity constantly and indulging in it, because it's very easy to get sucked into that, right?
Yeah.
When you're sitting with a bunch of girls, you bitch and you bitch. You don't realize that you go back home and you're carrying that negativity with you.
Absolutely.
So for me, I think, a lot of when people see me, on birthdays and stuff, when I get messages like, you're so positive and you're so happy, for me, that's a lot nicer to hear than, oh, you're so beautiful, or, blah, blah, whatever. So I think, that's the secret.
And I think that's a lovely way to put it. And it's going back to where we started our conversation today, the reason why we asked you to be our first guest.
I'm so honored, honestly.
It was just that genuineness and that warmness and that transparency, And now I know, having looked at your Insta handles, I didn't realize your numbers were what they were. And,
Thank you.
You're quite the celebrity, but it was just that connection that we all had together.
Yeah.
And I would love for that to sort of translate out to the people who are watching this and
Of course.
and seeing that it's, like you said, we all want to look good. Who doesn't?
Yeah.
But at the same time, we're all human beings, and the fact that you're focused on being positive, that's why you have a glow. And I mean, that's,
no, it's true.
You know,
I've seen it. I've seen that with my mom as well. She turned what happened when she's young. She's 61. And what happened which was hardly 58. And, for her to still be positive, and it's not like, there'll be times when I'll say to her, whenever in the future, if you do want to move on, please don't feel like you're answerable to me or my brother or my sister. You do what you want to do. She said, honestly, I found so much contentment with myself.
Yeah.
And that's what shows on her as well.
Right.
That glow, that internal happiness. Of course, there's always that underlying sadness, like I'm sure you will know.
Of course.
But to take that and to put yourself out in a positive way I think is really commendable.
Yeah, you're just reminding me of something. When I went through those times, because we lost, as I'm repeating myself, mum and dad in quick succession, I isolated myself from the world because I didn't want to interact with anyone because I was in a low place.
Yeah, of course.
So I didn't want that to be translated to anyone else. And I remember I stopped watching TV and I just started reading. I must have read, I don't know, more than 1,000 books. And I'd pick a subject and I'd just keep reading. So books became my friend, effectively.
Yeah.
During that process, the transformation that happened was learning to be comfortable with yourself in your own skin, on your own.
Yeah.
So therefore not needing anyone, not having to have someone there to feel better about yourself or to be validated and all those things that we look for. I mean, we're living in a world today where everyone seems to want instant validation.
Yeah.
You post a picture and boom.
The likes.
Yeah. It's like, did I get 50,000 or was it 20,000?
Yeah.
And I think that process of getting to a stage where you're comfortable in your own skin is the first step to really moving forward in life.
Yeah.
And I mean that from a spiritual and mental, emotional perspective. So I can be sitting in a room with 50 people. I don't need to be anyone but myself.
Yeah.
And if you like me, fair enough. If you don't, fair enough. It's not personal.
Absolutely.
It's just not personal.
And I genuinely feel confidence is sexy.
Yeah.
It's you hear it growing up, you hear this line and you hear so many people saying it. But at the end of the day, if you can be who you are, there's nothing greater than that.
I mean, and in my previous relationships, when they ended, I tried to put it in a way which I understood, but obviously I was misunderstood in what I was saying. But all I was trying to say was the fact that we're no longer together, it's not personal.
Yeah.
It's
just grown as a person.
Exactly. And I'm who I am and you are who you are, and it's not working anymore.
Yeah.
And it's not because of who you are, it's because of who I am.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's all. And there was for me, there was no negativity attached to that. It was actually, I think it was Chris Martin, when he was splitting with Gwyneth.
Yeah.
He came up with this positive uncoupling or something like that.
I read about that.
I remember the exact words. So
yes.
A lot of people had a laugh about that.
Yeah.
But what he was trying to say was it's not a
doesn't have to be bitter.
Exactly. It doesn't need to be bitter. And if people are deciding to move on, that's fine. That means your ship was only meant to be together for that.
That happens in friendships too, right?
Exactly.
So why can't it happen in relationships?
Exactly. And you get a lot of situations where people are unnecessarily staying in relationships for the sake of being in a relationship. And that ties in with what I was saying about if you're happy in your own skin being who you are, you won't make that mistake.
True.
You just won't.
You also want to accept anything other than what makes you happy or what is for you.
Yeah.
It's a form of self-respect, right?
It is. It is. And wow, I think for me personally, after I met my wife, I understood what you've just said truly.
Yeah.
Because being with her actually was exactly that. I was giving myself the respect I should have given myself early days. Because she's a 10 out of 10.
She's perfect.
Yeah, she's a 10 out of 10.
She may as well be with us.
So, I think, and she, in her journey and all the things that she's seen and been through, as you know, all those, I think all that level of self-respect that she's garnered and she's built has made her into this person where, she will not accept nonsense and she will not accept things that are not what they should be, and it's clear.
I know what's the beauty for me with Diksha is that she doesn't have to verbalize it.
No.
It's just in her body language. She's the warmest, nicest, funnest, coolest person. But at the same time, she has that kind of aura where it's like, I won't take your shit.
Yeah.
Right? And I think that's so important today.
It is.
One of the things someone told me was that, you know where to draw boundaries and you've taught me how to draw boundaries. And I was like, but how? Like, you just have it in you.
It's your conduct.
Yeah. So, and I think that's, once again, ties back to self-respect.
Yeah. No, I do see that similarity in you guys, sort of, you're both very warm people, but it's also very clear that
Yeah, these are my lines.
Yeah, these are the boundaries, these are the lines, and
Yeah.
this is how it's going to be. And that's I mean, that's fantastic. Like,
But I don't know why it's frowned upon. A lot of people come off thinking that's like arrogance or, whatever.
yeah.
But I think that's not.
No, I mean, you're right. People mistake it for
Yeah.
arrogance. It's actually just truth and honesty, right there. You know, like
I think the world's just not used to seeing that.
and but you know, how you guys both are,
Yeah.
and how even other friends of mine who have similar kind of personality traits and
Yeah.
characteristics. I think you guys are now breaking those walls, those barriers, those boundaries, and maybe it's misunderstood now,
Yeah.
but 10 years from now,
Let's hope. Yeah.
hey, and
No, for sure. I think people are becoming a lot more aware about this. That, it's okay to say no. So many times you scroll on Instagram and you keep seeing those, I don't want to call them memes, but like those little messages, motivational messages like learn to say no.
no, yeah,
And it's fine. And I think that's such a powerful word in the right sense if used correctly.
absolutely. I mean, I think it was yesterday, I said the exact same thing to Diksha, because if you look at our next month, our calendar's insane.
Yes.
You know, like
Where do you draw the line?
Where do you draw the line? And it's not about offending anyone. And it's honestly speaking, it's too much.
It is too much.
So you've got to, what are you going to prioritize?
Yeah.
You know, like, what are you going to choose? What are you going to say no to? And just her personality characteristic is do everything, be there for everyone.
Yeah.
At the cost of her health.
Yeah.
You know, and I
And
just,
especially with you guys having she's so young, Kiana, still. It's difficult to have to wake up in the morning.
Exactly.
And be on form and I know Diksha, she wants to put her best self forward for everything. So,
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, you've I think touched on mental health a good few times in this
Yes.
conversation. And what if you just sort of build up your calendar so heavily and you're trying to do too much, it starts affecting
Of
your mental
course.
health. There was this, I don't know if you remember seeing it, there's this Apple advert which had The Rock. And The Rock was effectively doing like 50 things in one day. He was
Right.
on private jets and in the gym and then doing a movie
Yeah.
and then running his business, and it was all made to look so like sexy and like
Yeah.
cool. Like, wow, The Rock does 50 things in a day and he's
Yeah.
knocking it. And I watched that video and I was like, that's just like, if you try and multitask and do so many things at one point, the quality is going to start going down. And it's
and
gonna
that's
start
what's called burnout
Yes.
now, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So that's something which I think I've seen it the last 5-10 years. Multitasking has become this thing, like you multitask.
Because it's so rightly said, in a world where they're glorifying exhaustion,
Yeah,
rest is the most underrated drug.
exactly. And wow,
It's all Insta.
that's a tagline again. Now, completely pivoting and changing, I've noticed you've got some cool tattoos.
Yes.
Tell me about them.
So I, once again, like a puppy, I always wanted to get tattoos. And my mom was like, when you get married, you can do what you want. Typical Indian mom. Got the dog and I was like, okay, now I have to get the tattoo. But yeah, I started off with this one. So this is my son's initials. They're both A.
How sweet.
Infinity, very generic tattoo.
Very sweet.
Then this was just initials, but it kind of ties in perfectly with my family. So my initials, once married to Karan, are Nriti Karan Maker. But it also was Nriti Neelam Nikunj, my parents and mine. Krisha is my sister and Karan, K.
Wow.
And Mishal is my brother and Max. So it actually worked out perfectly.
Wow.
And this is, can't see it now, but it's an Egyptian, the eye of Horus and the eye of Ra.
Wow.
Big believer in energies and Nazar.
Oh, that's a conversation we're going to
Yes,
have.
we'll have that. So this is for Nazar, because my mom used to keep being like, you get so much Nazar, Kala Tikka, this, that. I was like, I'm just going to get it plastered. And this was when I lost dad. So this is a picture right after we finished our fairas. And the photographer captured it. It was actually beautiful because we were both laughing and crying at the same time.
I don't know if the camera can pick this up, but it's a beautiful picture.
It's so right
It's
after
very
he
sweet.
passed, I wanted, of course, to have him with me forever.
Oh,
So I picked this picture because it meant a lot to us. It's one of the pictures we got blown up even in the house.
very sweet.
And this is hummingbirds, because hummingbirds make families for life and transcend lifetimes.
Wow.
I know I found my soul family, and I hope to have them in every lifetime.
Nriti, you're getting me emotional now. That's
So
that's lovely.
yes.
So my wife and I also believe that we've met each other in
We
multiple
spoke about it,
lifetimes.
and your story gave us goosebumps. Even after you guys left, Karan and I spoke about it.
Yeah.
That incident where you spoke about,
Yeah.
you guys knew exactly where you were at one point.
So we believe we're soulmates for life, and we've been in different lifetimes. And a lot of people think we're nuts when we talk like this. I mean,
I don't.
So, and fair enough, we might sound it, but it's something I think is real. I mean, sort of souls transcend lifetimes,
They do.
and you'll keep meeting each other, and so on and so forth. But I didn't know about. Is it hummingbirds? You
Hummingbirds,
said? Yeah.
yes.
I know the penguins and penguins.
Lobsters.
Yeah, that's it. That's from Friends. Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, but yeah, I kept seeing them in my dream, and I was like, there has to be a reason I keep seeing hummingbirds. I'm not even I'm not aviary anything, and I googled it, and then when I saw it was that. So once again, I don't want to keep talking about this, but we tried to connect with him, like I said,
Okay.
and one of the guy who knew everything, he was like a medium, was based in London, never met him, and he didn't take any money. You can donate to his dog charity based in London, how much ever, as little as £2 to as much as 2,000, whatever you feel like. So he wasn't in this for money. But some of the stuff he said to us about Dad was uncanny. And so we really obviously believed him. And it was really strange every time, once Dad passed, we kept seeing peacocks a lot. And when we spoke to George, who was the medium, he said every time you see, randomly, he didn't know we keep seeing peacocks. Doesn't even live here, I've never even met him. He said every time you see a peacock, it's your dad coming to say hi to you.
Sweet.
And I just found that weird because Arhan, who was all of 2 at that time, kept only talking about peacocks. And his babble, of course, he couldn't speak properly.
Yeah.
And he kept, and we would suddenly see peacocks everywhere. And once we moved here, which was after his passing, it was just linear park, peacocks. And I'm like, because that was my biggest regret. He didn't get to see the house that Karan built with his, hard work and love. And when I saw the peacocks at Linear Park, I was like,
that's wow.
Yeah. So he's here. He's seen Karan's hard work.
That's very, very sweet. I can't, I mean, again, there's so many things that we cross over on. And so when we lost Dad, so Dad was my best friend, my mentor, my guide, my guru. He was my father, of course. He was all of these things rolled into one. And the early part of my life, I didn't get to see him much because he was always traveling, and I was always playing, tournaments, and so our timelines never matched. When I got a chance to come to India, so a precursor to that, when I was 12 years old, I said, I'll never work in India, I'll never live in India, I'll never work with you. That's what I said to my father.
Oh.
And all 3 happened in one go.
Never say never.
Exactly. And I found myself in India working with him, and it was life-changing, like what I learned from him. And the time we spent together was just...
cherish it forever.
Yeah. And people talk about business schools, and, I've been lucky to be at some of the best schools, but nothing compares to learning from that man.
I'm sure.
He was just a different level. And after he left, until yesterday, I can tell you categorically when he's communicated with me.
That's amazing.
He finds a way. So for your father, it's peacocks.
Yeah.
You'll laugh when I tell you, for me, it's red polos. It's the little red car, the polo.
Yeah.
So whenever I see those, that's him communicating and saying, I'm here. And it's uncanny. It's
that's
uncanny how he communicates. So that, even after they've gone, that love somehow keeps you connected,
course.
So he will, when God bless him, we had tough times at work and stuff, and he really, really wanted, and this is a guy who's, he's had the best in life. He's built organizations and enterprises that we can only all aspire to, driven all the best cars, etc. And in India, when there was talk of the Tata Nano.
Right.
So he just became obsessed with wanting this little car to go from A to B, to go from the factory to where we stayed nearby. So I said to him at that time, I was like, Dad, it's not a known,
practical,
proven car. And you're a big guy. I don't know whether you're going to fit in here and all the rest of it. So it came his birthday, and I had around, I think it was like 4.5 or 5 lakhs in my account. That's all the money I had at that time. And the cost of the Polo was around 5 lakhs. So I bought him a little red polo for his birthday.
Oh, that's why the polo.
And that's why the polo. So he was, I don't think I've seen, I think I've seen that man cry twice in my life. And when he saw that polo and we gifted it to him, he was just, waterworks and stuff. So he never said a word. He never said thank you, which is not what we're looking for, of course.
Yeah.
But he treated that car like it was,
Pride and joy.
I mean, like it was a Rolls Royce, that cost whatever they cost.
Because you gave it to him.
So yeah, and so he finds a way to find things that he knows that I connect with him. He will somehow communicate. So
because I genuinely don't believe they're gone.
No.
I mean, this is a whole other conversation.
It is.
Yeah.
Like I said, conversation within
within
a
conversation. Yeah, it's just another realm.
Speaking of conversation within a conversation, you mentioned energies.
Yeah.
Talk to me about that.
I've been, I guess I've been more attuned to it in the last few years. But, you feel it. You feel energies. Like there are times that in the house when you enter and you feel like there's a heaviness.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, there's something wrong. Either like, and it's so funny because in India we're used to living with staff. Even something that affects them will affect the energy of the house.
Yeah.
So there are days when I feel, okay, I know I'm in an okay space. Karan's okay mentally. The kids are fine. It's someone else's energy that's kind of, bringing it down. So things like that. And of course, like Nazar, I'm a huge believer in.
Absolutely.
Massive, like evil eye. There are people who may not always want the best for you. And sometimes they may not even know it.
Yes.
A lot of the times this black magic and stuff is not even something that they're aware of. People can be jealous. People can be envious, resentful. Yes. And once again, circling back to Dad, I think because I wanted to understand what happened and why, you hear of death, it's a natural part of life.
Yeah.
It is inevitable. But what happens after is something that I wanted to get to know about. And, of course, Hinduism, you talk about lives, you talk about karma. So there is, and if I want to relate to Hinduism, then yes, I want to take that from it.
Of course.
And that's when energies came into like big play for me. And I genuinely feel, Atul, since we moved to Gurgaon, maybe because of the geography, we didn't end up seeing a lot of the people we were friendly with before because of the traffic and the distance and so on. But I felt like it was a cleanse.
Yes. Yeah.
It was just a cleanse because I was done with that energy.
Yeah.
I was done with, just being friends for the sake of being friends.
Right.
You have kids and your life does change.
Absolutely.
They kind of socializing, like you said, multiple times in a week is not possible. But once again, it was a cleanse. And I felt lighter. I felt better. I felt happier. I felt content. Even though whatever happened was such a groundbreaking moment for us, but I still feel like that gave me this perspective to life and friendships that I wouldn't have had otherwise. We're frivolous. You're going through stuff before tragedy really hits you.
Yeah.
And for me, that was what energies were. That why do I suddenly not want to even associate with certain people I used to associate with very closely before?
Yeah.
Why is it that it's just a hi, hello? Of course, we're grown-ups. We don't cut off as much as I would like to. But
I'm right there with you.
Yeah, I know. It's a shame. But yeah, so at least that there's something that's not vibing. What is the term vibe? It's energy.
Yeah.
You vibe with certain people. You connect with certain people. It might be mental. It might be physical. But deep down at the core of it, I think it's energetic and it's spiritual.
Do you find that perspective that you got about energy happened? So Nriti, we've talked quite a bit about sleep and the importance of recovery from a training perspective, from a lifestyle perspective. You mentioned taking magnesium.
Yep.
Just talk me through that. How did you get into it? And
so when I was pregnant, both times I had severe leg cramps. And they say it's because of dehydration.
Yeah.
But I also did read that if you use magnesium spray on your leg, on your feet, at the soles of your feet, the cramps really stop.
wow.
So while I was doing that, while the cramps did stop, I also started sleeping much better.
Yep.
So I was like, wait, there's obviously a correlation. So obviously, Google to the rescue. Googled it, and I found out it's a huge, it helps with sleep. So naturally, then I spoke to the GP about it, and she gave me a really good, she gave me the kind of background to it as to why you need to have magnesium and all of that.
Yep.
And that's when I started having it. And I've seen a massive difference in my sleep. I sleep better. I sleep sounder, even if I
Yes.
might be 5 hours of sleep, which is not optimum, but it's good, deep quality sleep.
I mean, a lot of people actually don't know about this. So there's a lot of supplements out there that help you, let me put it another way, that induce sleep.
Right.
What magnesium does, it actually gives you high quality of sleep.
Yeah.
So the kind of REM level of sleep that you get,
Exactly.
there's a light sleep, a deep sleep, and a REM stage.
Right.
You need all three to have.
Yeah.
And normally you're targeting around what they call 4 sleep cycles
Okay.
each time you go to sleep. So if you sleep 6 to 7 hours, you're likely to hit 3 sleep cycles. If you hit 8 hours, you can hit 4 sleep cycles, which is optimum.
Right.
And magnesium plays a very important role in that deep sleep
Yeah.
and the REM
That's what I
sleep.
started noticing.
Yeah.
It was much deeper. It was sounder. They want like vivid dreams. You know, you're just in that realm that's perfect to like conquer the next day.
I mean, that's exactly how it's meant to be. Have you ever considered taking melatonin and that kind of product, those kind of products?
Okay, I'll be very honest. I'm a horrible mom. I have got melatonin drops from the States to give my kids when they're jet lagged
Yeah.
or when we're doing a long flight. So I did try melatonin for myself, which didn't really work. I'll be very honest, it didn't. Magnesium was much better. I don't need help inducing sleep.
Yeah, you need the
I mean,
quality.
I'm very tired constantly, so I will sleep
You see,
at the
good.
drop of a hat, but I needed help with the quality of my sleep. And that's when, I did a lot of self-reading about magnesium. And then apparently magnesium and zinc together are really good for your muscle recovery and your sleep.
It works so with magnesium and zinc. Zinc is ideal in the mornings, and
Okay.
magnesium is ideal at night. And it has also a tremendous role in muscle recovery.
Right.
Then you have different salts out there. So there's glycinate, there's citrate. So you have magnesium glycinate, you have magnesium
Right.
citrate.
Yes.
Those play a different role. So those salts, I mean, certain salts will work very well for absorption. So when we talked about gut,
Right.
now, when you eat, it's not guaranteed that you're going to get all of the maximum nutrients and the benefits from
Because
what
what
you
your
eat.
body absorbs,
Exactly.
right?
So different salts and magnesium actually help the absorption process. So you'll be able to take in better stuff, absorb
Right.
it better, and especially if you have gut problems. And gut problems normally lead to a poor absorption.
Yeah.
So different magnesium salts actually work for that as well.
Oh, I had no idea.
So it's a tremendous supplement. Works really, really well. And speaking of supplements, going back to your fantastic hair, you take iron.
Yes.
Okay, and how did that? I mean,
Once again, I think this was just age old, mom being like iron. I was always anemic, borderline anemic growing up. So a lot of spinach, a lot of dates, figs.
yeah,
And then obviously, I think, like you spoke about absorption, there's only I'm vegetarian, eggetarian. So there's not that much in terms of, vitamin D3, protein and stuff.
Yeah.
So when we did kind of sit down and be like, okay, why is my hair falling so much? Which is actually ironic because I kept reading about biotin and I kept thinking that, okay, I have to take biotin supplements for the hair loss. But a lot of the stuff that you don't know is that you just can't take it ad hoc.
Yeah.
You have to be told how much to take,
Yeah.
which is what I didn't know. And I think a lot of young girls or boys or, whatever you are might not know that it's not just go to the chemist and get biotin, which unfortunately is what's propagated. And if you take too much or if you take the wrong dosage, it actually led to excessive hair fall for me,
wow.
which then I just completely stopped biotin. So maybe, I don't know, you can tell me about it.
Well, I mean, with biotin, it's down to, of course, the quality of the product, and it's down to all of these things we're talking about, being iron supplements, magnesium, biotin. These are all natural products. Melatonin. This is all natural. So this exists in your body
Right.
already, and as you age, it's a normal process that you'll start
Deplete.
producing. Exactly, you'll start producing less, or
Right.
you'll have less in your body, and that's where supplements start playing a role. Because if you want to, let's say your magnesium level, crossing into your 40s is half what it should be, you'd have to eat, technically this much spinach to sort of
Yeah.
cover that,
Exactly.
that difference.
Yeah.
Now, if you take the supplement, it's condensed down into a tablet, so of course you can get more concentration
Of
up.
course.
The issue with a lot of the products out there, what I've realized through my journey, so I've been taking supplements for, wow, I mean, to be honest, I think my mum was giving me vitamins from the age of like 5. I
Yeah.
remember having those multivits. I Yeah, it's good 25, 30 years of taking supplements. What I found is, of course, some work, some don't work. You've got to find the ones which have a high bioavailability. By that I mean, simplistically put, if you take a gram of any supplement, your body only has the capacity to absorb 10 to 15%.
Oh,
So you'll also find bioavailability as high as 80, 90%. So you've got to find the products which have a high bioavailability.
for you specifically?
In general. So
Okay.
it won't be specific to you. If one has take a turmeric
Okay.
or
Curcumin.
exactly curcumin. Now, the bioavailability, and this isn't, I don't think, I'm not totally accurate in the percentages. Let's say the standard product has about 15% on its own. If you combine it with pepper,
Okay.
the viability doubles.
Oh,
So these combinations now exist, so you absorb more of what you're taking in. With biotin, coming back to your question, so I went through a stage of a hair fall. It really, my hair really started to fall, and for a guy, I'm sure it's the same thing
Yeah,
for a
yeah.
girl, but a lot of your confidence comes from,
of course.
your
Your
head
hair.
of hair, and unfortunately, that's just a reality.
Crowning glory.
Yeah, and as spiritual and as evolved as we want to be, we still
Yeah,
have
of course.
full head of hair. So I started trying different supplements. My iron was fine, my hemoglobin was fine, so it wasn't that related. It was more to do with stress and a lack of other nutrients. So I started trying different types of biotin. And what I found was the one that is more natural, so it's called from Cispania leaves.
Okay.
It's not been, the biotin content's not been extracted from the leaf itself. It actually remains in leaf form.
Okay.
When I started taking that product, I had, at a certain stage, I was losing, I'd wake up in the morning and my pillow was covered in
Right.
my hair. So it was that level.
Stressful.
Exactly. So when I started taking these supplements, it just, within 10 days,
You saw a difference.
not just a difference, but it was hardly 5-10 hairs were there.
Oh, wow.
And then I continued taking that. And I mean, with God's grace, it's a rare day that I see 5 or 10 hairs that are falling.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of these things, you've got to find the right product. You've
Of
got to do your
course.
research, of course.
But you need the right person guiding you.
Exactly.
It's not just Insta ads telling us what to take.
Exactly.
I mean, I want to know more about it as opposed to just clicking on shop now on an Instagram ad of like a supposed new, fad in a multivitamin or a magnesium or those strips, I don't really know what I'm consuming.
Yeah.
I want to know if I'm taking something, it's from someone who's done like yourself
Yeah, done the research.
and who's been there, done that.
Yeah.
Like, who's kind of gone through a similar experience.
And that's kind of a lot of, I think, like I mentioned, 25, 30 years of taking supplements.
Yeah.
It wasn't for a lack of diet. I mean, God bless mum.
Yeah.
I was eating salmon and broccoli from the age of
I'm
11.
sure.
I still remember, I hated it, but she
Brussels sprouts.
Oh God, that's the worst of all of them. So she would, make sure I ate all my vegetables, and I still do, primarily a very healthy diet.
Right.
As you put your body through different types of stress, be it work, be it physical, I mean, sports, the oxidative stress in running
Yeah.
that you have. So you're basically putting your body under oxidative stress.
Right.
Okay. You are putting your entire system into a place where it's under stress.
Right.
It's also helping you in many ways, but it's also,
Of course.
for want of better, it's also aging you
Yeah.
in certain ways. So, I'm going from, again, a story within a story within a story, but why is a dog's life so much shorter than a human? It's 1/7.
Mm-hmm.
Think about how much they breathe versus
Yeah.
us. So they're constantly panting.
Yeah.
They're constantly, their rate of breathing is much faster than ours.
Right.
They therefore age
Yeah.
much faster. So all of these things and these supplements we take are to try and reduce the effects of the oxidative stress in your case,
Right.
or the things that lifestyle has put us into position.
Environmental factors and
Environment
such.
is, of course, plays a role, and these supplements help us to sort of mitigate the negatives of the lifestyle we want to lead.
Right.
Now, someone like you're sort of morning to night, you're on the go,
Yeah.
right? That's your life,
Right.
And you enjoy that, of course, I'm sure.
It's an adrenaline rush.
So, if you have supplements that you can have supplements that will take care of the issues that are related to the amount of stress you put your body through.
Yeah.
And they do.
Why
work.
wouldn't I?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you? And doing this for 25, 30 years, I found a lot of my friends saying, Abdul, like, how is it you look like you do,
Right.
or how is it you are as healthy as you are? Or they would ask me all these questions.
Yeah.
So I tell them this is what you do, and it's not just about having a supplement.
Yeah.
It's about a lifestyle.
Yep.
Get your lifestyle right, fix those building blocks,
Aspects, yeah.
and then go further forward from there. And I can say 9 out of 10 or 10 out of 10, they all came back with, bro, this works.
Yeah,
And
of course.
I was like, yeah, I've been doing this for 25, 30 years. So
Yeah.
I'm telling you all of that information. And I've read hundreds and hundreds of research papers to understand how this all works.
I'm sure.
And then that translates into how you take and what you take.
Yeah.
And I think in India also we have the situation where we're very blessed and lucky that we get a lot of the good stuff from our food. I remember you talking about sort of Indian spices and all that kind of...
Yes. So a while ago, actually, for a lot of my youth, I followed a nutritionist, not for weight loss or anything, just for this reason, just to feel good internally. Whether it was anemia I wanted to tackle, and I didn't just want to tackle it with medication, or if it was anything like teenage acne, stuff like that. She's a very popular nutritionist in Mumbai. And I followed her blindly because I saw really good results. And everything she prescribed, she would make this concoction, which would be from herbs and spices in your kitchen.
Right.
So it's not like she would send them to us. She'd be like, okay, you need to add 1 tablespoon cinnamon powder, jeera, white sesame, blacks, like obviously different based on your different needs. And that's when I realized, which is why when I say thali is my favorite meal, it's not because of the taste, which is of course a given, but each item on that dish serves a purpose for your well-being. Similarly with Indian spices, why do we put jeera in dal? Not because it's tasty, it's because it helps in digestion. Why is there hing in bhindi? Not just for the lack of stickiness when you're cooking it, but because it once again serves in digestion.
Yeah.
Stuff like this, like mustard seeds, all of this, when you really go into like Ayurveda, the food you're feeding your body with Indian food is medicinal.
Yeah.
And it just goes back to like the grassroots level.
I think that's really well put. And I've spent a lot of time studying our culture, our country, being effectively a foreigner to some degree,
Right.
now living here. There's so much science within what we do without realizing it because
Absolutely.
of our roots and where it's come
Exactly.
from. So hearing you put it just as you put it, it's...
Like curcumin, for example,
Yep.
which is what? Haldi.
Yes.
Haldi is put in every Indian dish.
Yep.
It's anti-inflammatory,
Yes.
bloating,
Yep.
Whatever it is, whatever your body is, if you get a cut, you tell... you would see like when you were a kid, you would see like your help at home putting like haldi and just wrapping it with like little white cloth.
Yep.
So I just feel like it's so much you can learn from our roots.
And speaking about that, you are effectively, you've taken, I mean, you're a modern woman.
Yeah.
I mean, you're very much sort of...
But very traditional in my views.
Exactly. So you are sort of, you're breaking barriers on one side, yet you're retaining all of this sort of the traditions that we have and the cultural aspects that we have. And how does it feel to be doing that effectively for a family? So you're effectively looking after the kids, you're looking after your husband. Everything that you're bringing in is also there to look after them.
Right.
So how much responsibility do you take for ensuring that this is all...
Of course, I decide the meals for the boys and I. Karan is not in my control as much as I would like him to be. But I kid you not, the day he says he's eating home food, there's the biggest smile on my face, only because I feel, okay, there's some sort of semblance to his like erratic lifestyle and dietary choices.
Yep.
I know everyone, and I did too when I had both the boys. I was I need to only order organic vegetables. And something I realized was when I go back to Bombay, back to my mom's house, or when I'm traveling, I don't know if they're giving them organic vegetables. Okay, mom's house, maybe I have a certain degree of control,
Right.
but not so much because no one really wants to be come and told how to run their house.
Yeah.
Why am I only subjecting their gut, especially because Ayansh had a weak gut, to highly organic food when I don't know it's going to be available everywhere?
Right.
They should be used to eating even sabzi that comes from the mandi because
Yes.
honestly, we live here.
Yes.
And for better or worse, they have to get used to food here.
Absolutely.
Okay, if I can control the dals and stuff that are only because of the chemicals that go into polishing dals and rice and all of that, but vegetables, once again, I'm not saying I'm going to just go and buy it off big basket, But I'm okay with the mandi sabzis coming in for them, and then doing whatever I have to ensure that it's clean, and I'm getting rid of the pesticides and all of that. But I'm very mindful about setting a very balanced menu, whether it's the food they take in their tiffin to school. We've actively opted out of school lunch.
Wow.
Because again, it was very white sauce based, which doesn't suit Ayansh at all. And there's nothing wrong. I mean, he loves a good white sauce pasta every now and then, but I don't want to give my kid veg stroganoff because, frankly, he's not going to eat it. And not because I haven't trained his palate for that, but just because I feel there's nothing really nutritious in that.
Absolutely.
So even if it means the sabzi from the day before, the night before, that's left over, like, they're very happy with their palak paneer and their dal, I get the cook to kind of bind atta into it and make it like a paratha, and that they'll have that for their tiffin the next day. So it's also sustainable, but it's also healthy.
I mean, this is genuinely blowing my mind.
No.
Like, it's amazing that, I mean, to the extent that you've actually told the school that ghar ka khana hi aayega.
Yes, that's it. And even if it means the cook has to wake up at 6:30, but of course I keep it. I'm not a slave driver. He doesn't have to cook like a full thali for them in the morning. It's like, okay, jo bacha hai raat ka, just let's improvise and make it something that's quick, so you don't have to wake up super early to cook it. And they also have a good nutritious meal till their lunch goes in the car when they go to school.
Another thing you and Diksha share, do not waste food.
Yeah,
Like,
it's my pet peeve.
Yeah, the plate has to be absolutely clean and simple as
Take
that.
as much as you want. That's fine. Even it breaks my heart when we go down to the brunches and there's so much wastage.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's,
Yeah.
there were these, totally pivoting out here, but there were these schemes that they ran in the restaurants in New York and also in London where all the excess food that was there.
Yeah,
would
like
go
a food drive.
Yeah, it'd go to the homeless. And
I don't know. It's not allowed here, apparently.
apparently, yeah. Because I try to get that started here.
Yeah.
I know, we're lucky to know a lot of people who are in the hotel industry.
Yeah.
They said, Atul, it's just
not allowed.
It's not allowed.
I know, it's a shame.
Yeah.
Just throwing food.
So, but wow. So you are effectively looking after your children's health in a huge way through the way in which you're feeding them.
Absolutely.
Like it's paramount.
I think it mainly stemmed from Ayansh's mood swings, which I couldn't understand how a child so young could have borderline depression and have such erratic mood swings. And when I realized it was his gut was a reason for it, and we've been so mindful from now, whether it's, okay, I'll give you a very small example. When he has a blocked nose, which is very often thanks to Delhi and its pollution, we don't use nasal spray. I put ghee drops in his nose.
Ghee drops?
Yes, because that's apparently very good. And then I read up about belly button. You put ghee in your belly and different oils.
That I know, yeah.
So castor oil if he's constipated, ghee for his nose. So I've literally tried. Of course, there is a crocin and ibugesic, which is for fever, and I'm never going to mess with science. But where I can have a natural alternative, I will.
That's fantastic.
If they're that age-old nuska, if they have fever, you put onion slices and then make them wear socks. So stuff like that where I can control naturally, I try.
I learned about all of these things obviously after I moved to India.
Thanks to Diksha, I'm sure.
Actually, I mean, family that are here, and of course Diksha as well. I mean, this onion thing, I've tried it.
Yeah, it's
the castor oil, I've tried it.
Old wives' tale.
It actually works.
Yeah, it does.
It actually works.
You'd be surprised. If they have a cold, we'll get like mustard, garlic, and ajwain out. We'll make a concoction and I rub it on their chest. There's been no Vicks that's been bought at home for the boys in the last 3 years, and I'm really proud of that. If they have body ache, we rub bay leaf oil. Like stuff like that I've actually read up about, and I try and incorporate.
I mean, part of the reason why we're sitting here today is to understand what little things people do that can actually transform your life. Now, the things you've just talked about now, I don't know whether you'd consider them to be small things, but what I can see from my perspective, these small things you're doing are actually transforming your children's lives.
And Atul, not to kind of blow my own trumpet, but when I post these things on the page, it's what gets the most engagement, the most saves and shares, because that's how Instagram works,
right?
And the most traction. Because you can have 10,000 girls tell you where to spend your money and buy clothes from, but only a handful who you trust will give you advice on how to improve not just your life, your kids' life, your family's life.
Yeah.
These little tips and tricks, which is when I saw, like I said to you, the major pivot in the audience and the engagement on the page during COVID was because of the DIY, hair and skin tips. Anytime if I post a picture of, let's say a brand has sent me a silk pillowcase and I've taken that picture, but you won't believe it, the DMs I get are not about the pillowcase. They're on that slight angle of my nightstand on which there's my magnesium. And it'll be like, what supplements are you taking?
Yeah.
Can you send us a picture of that? They
Yeah.
don't give a shit about the pillowcase.
Yeah.
They want to know how to make their life better. And I think there's been such a massive shift post-pandemic
Absolutely.
in everyone wanting to live a better life
Yeah.
/ lifestyle. But everyone is on a journey of self-improvement.
Right.
Yeah. And I feel like my audience especially is so into not just, okay, if I go to Potenza and I post my facials and stuff, of course they want to know that because that's superficial. But yeah, what are you consuming early morning? I
Yes.
have this tray that comes. There's my aloe vera shot. There's my amla shot because it's now lack of immunity season.
Right.
We've got the soaked almonds. We've got the soaked walnuts. The kids have the same concoctions as well.
Wow.
Only because, and that's what gains the most interest on my Instagram.
I mean, I'm not surprised. And even the DIY packs
Yeah.
you're talking about, how
Yeah.
did you come up with those?
So my mom and my nanny, like the biggest. So my mom is one of 9 sisters.
Okay. Wow.
So
It's a
yeah,
big family.
yeah, huge. Sorry, 5 sisters, 4 brothers, but yeah, 9
9
siblings.
siblings.
And all of them, I think it was just all into the beauty space in terms of like natural stuff. So they are like this, treasure trove of secrets about like, okay, if you're tanned, do this, if this. All these natural remedies came from them, my mom and my nanny. But obviously then you kind of research. And when I saw the interest in that was so much more than just me dancing in front of a camera and making reels and doing these stupid transitions to change clothes. I was like, this is so much more meaningful because it is, my followers increased multifold.
I bet. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's the moment they click save and they're sharing it with a friend who's probably going through a similar, like let's say skin issue or a hair issue or a health issue, is when the compound effect happens.
Absolutely.
So it makes you really realize that people are a lot more interested. Even now, of course, I have to do the certain, paid collaborations for brands because it's festive season and yet another girl posting yet another lehenga. But in the middle, when I try and do something that's self-help,
Yeah. Yeah.
that's what just blows up. That will go viral.
And that's the kind of content, at least I'm also looking for.
Yeah.
That's I think the kind of content a lot of people are trying to find. I won't call it shortcuts. That's not the right word.
Improve your life.
Exactly. It's again, going back to that sentence of it's just these little things in your lifestyle that will transform your life.
Absolutely.
And I think, at least for me, I mean, in this conversation, that's definitely something I'm going to take away from this. I will try the key shots for
Yes, you
my daughter
must.
because she has
Even for us.
the block nose. She has that on a regular basis. So
And I made the mistake with my younger one. I don't know. It's just because I don't know if what they say is true, that you're so hands-on with your first child and the second one kind of just grows up on their own.
People say that. Yeah.
Unfortunately, I didn't spend as much time with Arhan because I had them very, very close. Ayansh, I started everything very early, as young as 6 months. So he's never opposed to like ghee or, if I give him ginger, turmeric shots, if he has a bad cough and stuff like that. But Arhan, it's like, he'll tear down the house, but he will not have ghee. But yeah, I think if you started early is my point.
Yeah, no, that's coming through. And again, for sure, these are, of course, the way in which Deeksha and I bring up Kiana. We're doing our best to sort of do, I think, a lot of things you're talking about. We are also trying the same things. Like the little things that she has the things that she eats on a daily basis.
Yeah.
She will eat every possible vegetable. I mean, your lokis and your dindas and all this stuff. And she eats all of that and she'll, take it down. As a child, I didn't have any of that stuff. You show it to her, I'm like,
Karan's the same.
Not happening.
But I think that's cultural as well.
It is,
Yeah.
It is. So, but it's so important bringing up a child. That's the reason also we decided to live in India. And not overseas, because we wanted our kid to learn all these things and have all these benefits of being in India, Now tell me the sort of the DIY things that you put together. Do you do that on a regular basis, or is it a one-off kind of?
No, I do it regularly, primarily for the research now. It's become for the page. It's not that because of the pace of my lifestyle. And by the end of the day, when, you can actually sit with a face pack and relax,
Yeah.
I'm so shattered. I just want to like curl up with TV and just pass out.
Yeah.
It's mainly for research. And because of that, I end up doing it frequently. But I may not be leaving it on my face for like 15, 20 minutes. But yeah, there are 5, 7 minutes. And then you figure out what works.
So, I mean, I think it's something you should definitely spend more time on doing.
Yeah,
'cause
I do think I want to turn the page more about. I don't want to say I don't want to focus on fashion and lifestyle. I do want to make it more. Also, beauty is very vague terminology for this space, but yeah, more holistic.
I mean, it's of course, being a guy, it's not my forte, but I'm very much in the wellness healthcare space, and from a personal perspective more than anything. But what I've been reading and researching about, and I've come across quite a bit, is this concept of beauty is no longer just putting some makeup on.
Skin deep, yeah.
Yeah, what you're putting on actually needs to be good for your skin.
Exactly.
So I think the kind of things I'm hearing now, understanding, I think you're going down that journey already.
Yes.
Well, you've already started that.
No, I wouldn't. I mean, yeah, I dabbled in it.
So it's if we're able to take all the best of what we have in India, I mean, all of sort of the traditional and Ayurvedic stuff, and bring it into this realm or this sort of this vertical, I think it would be really a really positive thing.
I think so too, because I have seen a major shift. I've said this before, in people wanting to be the best version of themselves, and more internally rather than externally, because obviously now there's such a shift in the dialogue in terms of body positivity and stuff like that. So it's not just about being skinny and fair, or what kind of society deems as beautiful. It's more about what you're putting into your body, and the more natural, the better.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a really good thing for people to take from this conversation, that we all aspire to look good and we all want to look good. And I think we're being dishonest with ourselves if we say we don't want that. I think most 99.9% do want that. At the same time, what's actually more important and transforming is looking after your insides and doing it from the inside out.
Exactly.
And that's really what's going to give longevity and make us feel more whole and better as people. So it's really interesting to see how you've kind of taken, I guess, what is the West, a lot of Western influence. You've also combined it with Eastern, and you've come together with something that's,
I guess.
And I don't think that you should. I mean, you're doing fashion, you're doing lifestyle. I think that's something which people also want to see. They want to,
of course.
And
it's aesthetically pleasing.
Exactly. And why stop that? Just add to the basket like you are,
Yeah.
So that's great.
So Atul, you've asked me a lot about my views on health and being healthy. Why don't you tell me what being healthy means to you?
Okay, where do I start? For me, being healthy it's a mindset. So it starts with getting up at 5 in the morning.
Crack of dawn.
Exactly. And it's all those small things. If you do them right, the result takes care of itself. So I was, you go back to school days, chemistry, maths, physics were my favorite subjects. And I had this fantastic teacher. And he told me, as long as you look after the left side of the equation, Atul, the right side, the result will come as you want.
Balancing.
Yeah. So just get the input right and the output. You just forget about the output. It'll take care of itself. So I took that, I absorbed that so completely, that sentence. I rolled it out into my life. So I will, of course, like any normal person, of course, I'll have my cheat days.
Yeah.
But it is, I count the number of, to be honest, Nriti, I count the number of hours I exercise a week. So I'll hit around 20 hours. I'll gym 5 days of the week. I will eat, as my wife puts it, well, I don't know if I can call it that, but she calls it dog food because I have just plain rice and chicken like 5 times a day. I need to get high amount of calories for my body type.
Of course.
But it's all about having the right food, always the right quality of food, no junk food, very little sugar. I eat a large quantity of vegetables as well on a daily basis. That's a big part of my diet, and that keeps me happy, healthy, and balanced. And sports for me is like, it's
No brainer.
yeah, and it's the same thing as going to the mandir. For me, I worship
Yep.
that time that I have in the gym. So for me, it's a complete 360. And at the end of the day, we also get tired of doing things to that level of discipline. But fundamentally, that word for me is a healthy mindset combined with discipline. I think anything's achievable.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That's very well put.
And how about for you? So what's it? How would you summarize it for you?
Very similar in that I think it is a mindset, and a healthy mind means a healthy body. A lot of chat has been there around lately about mental health
Yeah.
and mental well-being and stuff, because if you're depressed, or if you're someone who's suffering from depression or anxiety, you can't really get up and move your ass at the gym.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
of course you have to tackle your mental well-being, and like similarly balance it with the physical aspects. For me, healthy is everything you consume physically, what you put into your mouth,
Yeah.
what you watch,
Yeah.
what you think,
Yeah.
what you read. And I try and implement that. I know I keep talking about my kids, but I think they're an investment.
Yes.
And for me, if I can teach them even a tenth of what I have learned in the span of the last 3 years, I think I feel like I've achieved something.
Yeah. And I wish we talked more about again.
Yeah.
I wish we talked more about what you've just touched upon. That input, be it TV, be it newspapers, be it the internet, be it social media, if you take in negative,
Your output's going to be negative.
Exactly. So
It's very simple if you think about it,
It
right?
really is.
And I said this before. I think discipline is a form of self-respect, but it's also respecting those around you.
Absolutely.
Because if you feel your best, you'll give your best.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you're cranky, you'll take it out on 1,000 people around you.
Exactly.
So really, just being healthy is a service to society,
Yeah.
in my opinion.
I like that. Being healthy is a service to society. You've had a good few
Yes,
one-liners today. You're
promise
on
I
form.
practiced these last night.
You're definitely on form. And Nriti, it's been an absolute pleasure.
No, I've had an absolute blast.
This is also for me, by the way. It's my first podcast, so this is the first time I've been in front of a camera and on a mic.
You've done fantastically well.
That's very kind of you to say, and I'm so glad we chose you as the first guest, because it's been fun. Like, I've loved chatting with you, and
Same.
in fact, we could probably go on for a good number of few
I
more
know,
hours.
absolutely, yes.
So it's an honor to have you for our first podcast.
Thank you so much.
And thank you for sparing your time.
Not at all. It's been an
And,
absolute pleasure.
For everyone out there who gets a chance to watch this, I implore you all, please watch and connect to Nriti's handle,
Thank you.
and you will learn a great amount of things. For sure, after this conversation, there's a few things I'm going to employ into my life and in my child's life.
Vice
more importantly.
versa. Definitely going to cut back on my cardio.
So thank you for your time again. A big hug to you and Karan. And,
Thank you so much for having me, Atul and
My
Diksha.
pleasure. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. So for all of you out there who got a chance to watch our podcast, firstly, thank you. I would implore you all to connect with Nriti and see all the fantastic content that she's put out there. For me, and the time that I've spent with her today has been fascinating. It's been mind-blowing as well. And I'm certainly going to, in my life and most importantly in my child's life, these are things I'm going to add to, these are changes I'm going to add to our lives. So Nriti, thank you so much for that. And please keep putting out this content that you're doing, and please, keep doing what you're doing. It's great. Thank you.